like this and want more, then check out the JARcast live stream every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time on the Jacob Anders Review YouTube channel, where you can also find movie reviews every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. You can also listen to the entire podcast on all major podcasting platforms such as Spotify, Google, and iTunes. So if you prefer audio, whichever one is your preferred, check it out there. Once again, I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching. And as always, stay sexy, YouTube. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the JARcast. It is March 16th, 2021, and this week on the show, we're looking at the future of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Once again, last week of Justice League stuff, Pee-wee's big comeback, Coked Out Bears, the king is once again the king of the world, how Netflix is tired of your shit, and more. Got some pretty cool stories this week to go over. I'm excited to talk about. Nothing huge and world-ending, but some pretty interesting stuff and a few things really out of left field that I wasn't expecting. So let's jump right into the very first one. And I promise, well, I don't promise, but most likely, unless I reference it, this is probably the last time on this podcast that I will talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League, because it seems as if I talk about this shit every fucking week. But as we lead up to this movie that does come out this Thursday in 2 days, or a day and a half, just more and more news keeps on coming out. All kinds of stuff continues to just surface about this movie, and we just can't get away from it. It's a huge deal. It's a big thing. I'm looking forward to it. It seems like a whole lot of people are. But what we're going to talk about here is probably a little bit, I don't know if it's sad, but some downer news for those that are really looking forward to or really into the Zack Snyderverse, I think is what they're calling it now, the Snyderverse. But either way, whatever they're calling it, this is going to be it, because Zack Snyder's Justice League sequels that they talked about, and apparently after last week's show, they started saying, hey, they actually might do them if Zack Snyder's Justice League is done or comes off. If it's a success, they may actually go forward with those sequels. There were apparently some talks about that. But alas, that's not happening because Zack Snyder's Justice League sequels are not happening. The story goes as this. Zack Snyder confirmed that Justice League will be the last movie he makes in the DC film universe, effectively shutting down the idea behind the growing #Restore the Snyderverse campaign. See, they tried to get another Snyder Cut thing going. Apparently it was actually going, but he's putting the kibosh on all that right now. In his words, they are 100% moving away, he said. They consider the theatrical cut of Justice League as canon. The Times reported and asked him why the end of the movie, or why end the movie on a cliffhanger at all if he didn't intend to follow up the story. And I was wondering that too. I haven't seen the movie yet. I am like one of the only people on YouTube who didn't get a preview screener of the damn movie. So a little bit humbling, admittedly. But I haven't seen it yet. I got to wait with everybody else until Thursday or late Wednesday night and watch this 4-hour epic. But I'm hearing good things, but I have heard that it does leave it off on a cliffhanger for the second movie. And that's when that whole Joker thing comes into play, apparently, that the only thing that they actually filmed 100% new. When they asked him that, he said, I added it because this was going to be the last movie I make for the DCU. And to have this entire cinematic universe without Batman and Joker meeting up just felt weird. The ask was for my version of the movie. I get that. And I mean, I guess I can't really say that leaving it on that cliffhanger. I don't know how the original version was going to end, but seeing as how they did film that, I don't think that this is actually his 100% his original version of it. He clearly had I think this is going to be mostly his original vision of the movie. But that part clearly was not in the original version because they just shot it here this past year sometime. The upcoming Flash movie will reportedly erase the Snyderverse. Yes, the Flash movie is still in the making, apparently. We're going to talk about that in a bit, too. It's going to erase the Snyderverse with a time travel plot that is intended to create a multiverse crisis, allowing Ben Affleck's Batman to exit and Michael Keaton's Batman to be reintroduced. The Flash will allow Warner Brothers to start from scratch, effectively ending Snyder's time in the DC film universe. You know, I gotta wonder. I know that the whole Flashpoint, I think that's what they call it, where the Flash goes and changes something and then like creates all these multiverses and stuff like that, or something along those lines. I don't know everything about it, but I know that that's a big thing in the DC universe. And I think that was, for a while at least, with this supposed Flash movie, they had been saying that they were going to do something like that. But I do got to wonder, are they doing that because of Snyder's, because the DCEU has been pretty much Zack Snyder's baby up until Justice League. I mean, even though he didn't direct like Wonder Woman or Aquaman, but he was a creative force behind it. He was the producer. That whole thing was all him. He was like the Kevin Feige of the DCEU up until he exited in 2016 or 17, whatever it was. So I gotta wonder, were they just kind of like, okay, we want to get rid of this guy and just kind of start anew and go a new direction, and that's why they're doing this Flashpoint thing. I don't know. The idea of the whole Flashpoint changing or time travel thing is neat, but I'm wondering what their motivation behind it is. I'm honestly just surprised they're still making a Flash movie. He also went, Zack Snyder also had to say, I'm trying to put together this movie called Horse Latitudes, a super micro-budget movie that I'm going to go shoot with my buddies in South America, Snyder said of his upcoming project. He's also got an adaptation of Ayn Rand's, The Fountainhead, on the back burner for when the U.S. is less divided as a country. I'd heard of that. That's actually a story that they were talking about, how he had been talking about wanting to make that movie, but I guess it has a lot of political overtones or undertones, one or the other. It deals with politics a lot, and he said that this just isn't the time right now to make that movie. I can respect that. I mean, that's cool. You know, if you're going to make a movie that is deep-rooted in politics, to make it right now, I think it's going to be compared to current politics. And him saying that he's not going to make that movie kind of, I feel like, says, you know, hey, that's not what this movie's about. Yeah, it deals with politics, but not today's politics. So I respect the fact that he's doing that. But I digress. Never mind. As far as like the Justice League sequels that they sounded kind of out there and crazy, some of them. I mean, like with the whole Lois Lane getting pregnant with Batman's kid and Superman going evil, kind of like a Injustice kind of thing and all that, and like this love triangle between them. It all kind of sounded a bit weird, but I would have been game for it. It sounded very grand. The whole thing sounded just big, and I would have been down for that. But unfortunately, if that's something that you were looking forward to and you were hoping would be happening, it's unfortunately not going to be happening. So I hope you like the current DCEU, or I hope you are okay with them changing it. I don't know what direction they're going to go with it. Are they going to have like a Justice League sequel, but it's going to be a sequel to that 2017 movie that pretty much nobody liked? I don't know. It seems odd. But you know what? The Snyder Cut comes out in a few days, and if it just does gangbusters, I mean, if it is just, because it's getting really good reviews up to this point, early reviews, if it just is amazing and blows everybody away and they see money in it, that's the one thing I think that could definitely change it. So if there's money to be made there, you best believe that Warner Brothers will jump on that. They're not going to just let money go away. I think that they kind of want to get Zack Snyder out, and he might kind of be soured on the whole thing. He might be like, you know what, I did my thing. I'm done with it. At one point in my life, I wanted to do all that, but everything that's happened because of this whole situation, I'm just not really interested in doing any more DCU stuff. And I can understand that. The guy's been through a whole lot as far as this property goes. So, wishing the best, and who knows what's going to happen with DC now. Is it going to be a fractured mess? Is it going to be one big thing? Who knows? I guess we're going to find out eventually. But next in line is the Flash movie. And with that, we will segue into our next story, which is the Flash movie casting update. Apparently, I was kind of surprised to read this because, this movie pops up every few months. Like every 6 months, they'll say something about the Flash movie. And I keep thinking, this movie's just not happening. It was supposed to come out like around the time of Aquaman, I think, or something like that. It's been, what? Aquaman was 2017 or 18. Justice League was 2017. And that was the first time we really saw Ezra Miller as Flash. It is now 2021. This movie, not one frame of this movie has been shot as far as I know. So at best, we're looking at 2022 before we see this movie. I think that's actually, we're going to learn here in a minute. Yeah, November 4th, 2022 supposedly is when this movie's coming out. We'll see. I'm going to call bullshit on that until I, see a trailer at least. So, but this story is talking about the casting. And Ezra Miller apparently is still the Flash. I'd heard that he wasn't, but according to this article, he is. It says the Flash may be losing a father. And that's talking about Billy, what is his name? It's down here further. Billy Crudup. He is the dad. He played the dad in Justice League, the Flash's dad. He is apparently left due to scheduling concerns. But it says the Flash may be losing a father, but the Scarlet Speedster is gaining a mother. I'm going to butcher this name. Maribel Verdú has been cast as Barry Allen's mom in The Flash, the movie, a character that's expected to play a pivotal part in the upcoming comic book adventure. At the same time, Billy Crudup is departing the project and will no longer portray the Flash's dad due to scheduling conflicts for the Apple TV Plus drama The Morning Show. The Flash, the first standalone adventure for the character following appearances in Justice League and BVS, Dawn of Justice. Really, we want to call it an appearance. I guess he did. He was in like some crappy surveillance video for like 5 seconds. But anyway, The Flash is going to feature Ezra Miller as the speedster known as Barry Allen. The cast also includes Sasha Calle as Supergirl. I did hear that they cast a Supergirl, so apparently she's going to be in this one recently. Ben Affleck as Batman. Surprisingly, I guess he's coming back. And Michael Keaton as another Batman. I'd heard them talking about this whole Michael Keaton coming back as Batman thing. Like, man, it's got to be years ago now. But is that really still happening? And Michael Keaton has been dipping his toes in the whole comic book thing with like Spider-Man and all that, and even Venom. He was in the wasn't he in the end of Venom? I think, if I remember, I might be getting my movies crossed. I think he was just like a cameo in the very end of the Venom movie. Maybe I'm wrong, but he's in that universe, or he's in the comic book movies. He's apparently down for it again. So I'd be okay with seeing him come back. I don't know if I want the new Batman to be him all the time. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, Kiersey Clemons also recently joined the cast as Iris West, a romantic interest of the Flash. That is true. She did just recently officially join the cast, but she's already played the part of Iris West in the Justice League, but her part was totally cut out, and she'll be back in the Snyder cut, so we will see her in a couple of days. But that was actually shot back in 2015-16 when they were doing all that. And so she was already the part of Iris West. That's Barry Allen, a.k.a. Flash's girlfriend, wife, depending on when it is. But I guess she just wasn't officially in the full movie yet, but she is now. Andy Muschietti, best known for It and the sequel, It Chapter 2, is directing. I found that pretty cool, or pretty interesting, because I think Muschietti is a good director. The first It is fucking amazing. I love that movie. That is a great, great movie. The second one is a bit bloated and had some issues, but it was still a good movie. It was an entertaining time. I'm still waiting on that It Chapter 2 supercut that he promised us. So where's that at, Muschietti? You've been working on this fucking Flash movie instead? Come on, give me that It one. That can't take that long, I don't think. Also, Christina Hodson, who wrote the Transformer spinoff Bumblebee and Birds of Prey, has penned the latest version of the screenplay. I liked Bumblebee. I thought Bumblebee was probably the best Transformers movie since the first one, if not the best out of the movies. Bumblebee was a good time. It was a really entertaining movie. And if they just left it there and said Christina Hodson, who wrote Transformers spinoff The Bumblebee, I would have been cool with it. But then they threw in Birds of Prey. And Birds of Prey, I didn't love it. But I'm not really sure if it's the writing or if it was the directing and what they did with it. So maybe her screenplay was fine. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, well, hell, for all we know, the Bumblebee screenplay was shit, and the execution was just really well. So, I mean, you never know. She's got a good one and a okay one there. I didn't hate Birds of Prey, but I definitely didn't think it was great. It was missing something, and it seemed like it had an agenda. But that could have not been the screenplay. That could have been the actual execution of the movie. So, here's hoping that I've always liked the character The Flash. I thought he was pretty good. The TV show The Flash, I followed for a while. I don't anymore, but I really enjoyed that show. He's a cool character. Ezra Miller as the Flash. He's a little goofy, and I'm wondering how he'll be in this Zack Snyder's version that's coming. But I enjoyed his portrayal. I thought he was pretty cool. He looked cool. He was fine. We'll see. Maybe after I see this new Justice League movie, his character will be awesome. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to this movie, but I am, as I always say, cautiously optimistic. This movie's just had so many fucking problems, man. So many. I mean, they say, oh yeah, this lady's been cast as Barry Allen's mom. Is she still going to be cast if it takes this movie another 5 fucking years to come out? And how relevant is this movie going to be at that point? I don't know. We'll see. Is Ezra Miller going to age out of being the Flash at some point? Who the fuck knows? Anyway, as of right now, if you're a Flash fan, get ready-ish because it is slated to hit theaters November 4th, 2022. So about a year and a half away. So if you're a Flash fan, maybe not get pumped yet, but, you know, a little bit closer to that time. Start getting pumped, unless they say that it's been delayed. I don't know. They put something down in stone now, so I guess they technically would have to, if they're going to move out, they would have to let us know. But maybe we'll get a trailer or something. I just want to, if they start shooting it, I'll have a bit more faith. But like I said, they haven't shot one single fucking frame of this movie. So, you know, until they start doing that, I have very little faith that we're ever going to see this thing. Well, The Flash may take forever to come out and be the slowest movie about a fast man to come out. But another movie that's coming out fairly quick probably, which it's going to be in 2022 as well, but it'll probably still be out before The Flash, is something pretty crazy from a crazy duo of directors that I've kind of enjoyed their movies, but they're teaming up with another director that some like and some don't for a really interesting movie. Not a lot of details on it, but what we got is kind of fucking out there. And what I'm talking about is Lord and Miller, the directors Lord and Miller, and their next crazy ride about a fucking bear. According to THR, Elizabeth Banks, hang on, has signed on to direct Cocaine Bear for producers Phil Lord and Chris Miller. As the title implies, the film is literally about a bear in the woods that eats a bunch of cocaine and dies. The film is based on the true story from a 1985 New York Times article about a 170-pound bear that dies of a drug overdose. Cocaine Bear will mark the third film for Elizabeth Banks behind the camera. Previously, she directed the features Pitch Perfect 2 and 2019's Charlie's Angels. Cocaine Bear is expected to begin filming this summer, which means a 2022 release is likely. So yeah, there's a movie about a fucking coked out bear coming that's apparently at least loosely based on a true story. All right, cool. I'm cool with that. And Lord and Miller are involved. And if you know anything about Lord and Miller's previous movies, just take Cocaine Bear and Lord and Miller, and that kind of makes you say, okay, yeah, I see that happening. The frantic insanity of their movies with this crazy premise, I think could be a good time. I don't know what they're going to do, what this movie's going to be about. I mean, they gave it away. I didn't know that the bear died, but apparently this bear, it's a true story about a bear that got a hold of a bag of coke and got coked out of its fucking mind. I don't know what it did in real life, but apparently it did die. But so what is this movie going to be about? Is it going to go like on a murderous rampage or something? Is it going to like start talking? Is it going to be like a surreal kind of crazy movie? I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be at least somewhat of a comedic take on the whole situation. Lord and Miller being the director, they were originally going to be the directors here, but apparently since things got pushed out, it conflicted with schedules, and now they're just producing, which producing, I say just producing is a big deal, but they've chosen Elizabeth Banks. Now, Elizabeth Banks is, she's only directed 2 movies up to this point, and one of them being Pitch Perfect 2. I've not seen either of these movies. I've not seen Pitch Perfect 2. I've heard good things about it. I heard Pitch Perfect, the Pitch Perfect series were good movies. The people that they're for really enjoy them. I heard they're solid. Pitch Perfect 2 as well. Now 2019's Charlie's Angels. I've not seen that one either. Because it got such scathing reviews, like across the fucking board. Everybody said that movie was terrible. And before I had an opportunity to see it, so I didn't really feel a need to watch something that like nobody said was good. Sometimes if a movie gets like unfavorable reviews and people are like a lot of people are saying it's not good, but then maybe you got like a few outliers that are like, oh yeah, it's good, then I'll check it out because you never know. But damn, nobody said this shit was good. There's no outliers. Everybody's like, this is trash. This is awful. So there was nothing about it that really spoke to me to really check that one out. So I'm going to say that she's got, she's batting 50-50, as they say, or 1 for 2 or whatever they call it. So this movie, though, that is such an insane premise that if they just let loose and have a good time with this, I think this could be a really crazy, out there, batshit insane movie. Can we get, what they need to do? I don't know what their vision is of this, if this bear is going to ever, is it going to be grounded in reality, or is this bear going to get coked out of its mind, and then maybe we're going to hear it talk or see it talk, or something crazy like that. I don't know how they're going to have at least an hour and a half to 2 hour long movie about a bear who just gets into some drugs and then dies. So it's got to do something, and I'm thinking that this bear is going to have some type of personality, and maybe it'll all be having it in its head, or something. I don't really know. But if they do that, if they go the route of having this bear speak and have a personality, whatever that is, or maybe it's in its head, or maybe whatever it is, if it has a personality, can you get Nicolas Cage to be the bear, please? He's already dressed up like a bear. Look at the fucking Wicker Man. He walked up and bitch left that lady as the bear. I mean, I feel like he'd be down for it. If they called Nicolas Cage and said, Mr. Cage, we have a new movie coming up. Lord and Miller are producing, and the role we want you to play is as a coked out bear. I think that's all they'd have to say to him. He'd be like, sure, I'm on. I'm already there. I have already signed it. I've already signed the contract. The contract hadn't been made. I've signed it anyway. It has been signed. Nicolas Cage has spoken. So I'm just wondering. I think he would jump at that. That just seems like something he would do, even if it's just like an animated bear or something, or CG bears or whatever, and it's just his voice. We need Nicolas Cage attached to this movie playing this fucking coked out bear. And he needs to be full on Mandy Nicolas Cage. You ripped my shirt, my favorite shirt. That crazy fucking one. Yes, that's what we need in this movie. That needs to happen. And now that I've said that, put it out into the ether. When Elizabeth Banks and Lord and Miller hear this, and someone tells them, it makes it to them through the grapevine. I'm not asking for royalties. I'm just asking for you to make it happen. Because if you put Nicolas Cage in a movie about a coked out bear in the middle of the fucking woods, and just let that happen, just whatever happen, just let it happen. You don't even need a script. Just say, Nick, Mr. Cage, you're a bear and you're coked out. Put him in a fucking mocap suit, throw him out in the motherfucking woods, and just see what the fuck happens. And say, that's who you are. B. And I think that, we got a movie on our hand. We got a hit. Filming for 3 days straight, and then just you'll have a movie out of that somehow. So yeah, that's coming. That's about all the info we got on it. But I thought that was just that short little story right there was so fucking crazy and insane. It's got my attention. I'm looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to this because I want to see a coked out fucking bear in the middle of the woods. And I've talked it up now, so Nicolas Cage has to be. Nicolas Cage is involved. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm just putting it out there into the world. I feel as if you will it, it will happen. This movie was made for him. He should be attached. So I'm saying, until I hear otherwise, I'm saying Nicolas Cage is playing the bear in Cocaine Bear. Prove me wrong. You can't. It doesn't matter. Nobody said he isn't, so you can't prove me wrong. So there it is. That's my take on Cocaine Bear. I'm looking forward to it. How about you guys? Are you looking forward to Cocaine Bear? Do you find this offensive? Possibly. I don't know. But who do you think should play the bear? Is anybody going to play the bear? Is this going to be like a serious movie? And I'm just really taking something else totally, just looking at this totally wrong. Who knows? I don't know. But right now in my head, this is a surreal, fucking out there, trippy ass comedy movie with Nicolas Cage playing a motherfucking coked out bear in the middle of the goddamn woods. And I'm okay with that movie. While this coked out bear movie may be my number one movie of 2022 so far, the number one movie, speaking of number one movies, the number one movie of all time, Avengers Endgame, has been dethroned during the fucking pandemic. Whoever saw that? Whoever saw that coming? I thought, you know what? Hey, Avengers Endgame, especially after this pandemic thing, is going to be number one for a long time, because it's going to be quite a while until anybody gets out there, like enough people go out to the movies to dethrone that movie. But no, it's been dethroned. It has been dethroned. And it's probably going to be by a growing margin at some point. And you're probably asking yourself, what has dethroned Avengers Endgame? The Croods 2? I mean, what else has come out? Nothing. What else is in theaters that could do that? It's not the Croods, by the way. No, I am, of course, talking about the previous champ. It's back. It came back and it said, bitch. It saw what happened. It didn't like it. It said, all right, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to wait till you turn your back. And then I'm going to take my jewelry off. I said, hold my jewelry while I go fuck up this bitch. Avatar is apparently the number one movie of all time again. Reporting from Deadline, they learned that overnight that Avatar had grossed an estimated $8.9 million, just $8.9 million, by 5 o'clock p.m. local time on Saturday to reclaim the title of the highest grossing movie of all time. Avatar now stands at an estimated $2,798,579,794, which is more than enough to surpass the $2,797,501,328 earned by Avengers Endgame. Box office for Avatar will keep growing throughout the weekend, though it is not clear how long the movie is intended to stay in theaters. And you might say to yourself, I don't remember hearing that Avatar was in theaters. That's because it wasn't in theaters here. It was re-released in China, because in China, they've opened up theaters a bit earlier than we have over here, and they released it over there as a limited run. As far as I know, it is still out over there, still making money. I don't have those numbers, but it only took one day to get back at least to the number one spot. Because that was the thing about Avengers Endgame. Everybody's like, this beat Avatar, ha 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 ha, and all this. It just like barely. It was like, you can understand, Avatar was number one over everyone else by a large fucking margin for a long time. And it was just barely beaten out by Avengers. And some people might say, well, the only way it beat it was that it got re-released. Not totally true. Well, yes, you're right, but not actually. In fact, the only way that Avengers beat Avatar was that it got re-released. Now, it was re-released like right after it left theaters. It left theaters and they brought it back like, I don't even know if it was totally out of theaters yet, but they brought it back and they claimed it was a special edition with all the special extra stuff on it. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. I remember this because everybody was kind of pissed about it. People were like, what the fuck was that? They brought it back out because they were really close to Avatar. But it was the end of their run. They were coming out of theaters. They said, okay, we're going to do this thing. You know, Stan Lee had passed away, and they had a tribute to Stan Lee at the end of the movie, after the credits. It was the same fucking movie. After the credits, they had a tribute to Stan Lee, and I believe it was a deleted scene with the Hulk, and it wasn't even finished CGI. It was just a deleted, unfinished scene. And that was pretty much it. I think it may have shown something about Spider-Man Far From Home, but my understanding was that it was nothing really. So they put this out there purely to beat Avatar, to make it the number one movie ever. And it worked. I mean, they beat it out by, literally it was just a few $1 million. And I mean, yeah, to me, to you, to most people, a few $1 million is a lot of fucking movie. But when you're talking about movies that are in the billions, and when you're talking about these big blockbuster movies, $8.9 million, which it wasn't, that's not how much it beat. It was like $2-3 million or something like that. I can't remember exactly. It was not a lot. It's a few $1 million is nothing in that world. That is a drip in the pan, or whatever they say. That's absolutely nothing. It's minuscule. So, I mean, within one day, it wasn't even the full day's tally, they had already reclaimed that top spot. And some people, it is also said, are they going, what if they re-release Avengers Endgame? Are they just going to do like this back and forth thing, who's number one? I don't think so. Because I think if they re-release Avengers Endgame, I'm not bashing that movie. I think it was an entertaining movie. It was good. But it was for its time. We all went and saw that movie because we had built up to it. We built up to this movie over all these years, and we wanted to see what happened. It ended on a cliffhanger, the last one. We had to go. We had to go see this movie because we wanted to see what happened. We didn't want to wait. We didn't want to get it spoiled. Everybody rushed to the theaters because they wanted to see what happened to all these characters we followed for years that just died in the end of the last one or disappeared. Everybody had to go see it. It was a good movie. It was a really good movie. But I don't think, if you re-release it, it'll make money, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as big as it was before. And I think Avatar has a better chance of making more money on this re-release. Once again, I don't know where it's at now. I think Avatar has the potential to make a whole lot more money. And then you also have to understand, first of all, it makes no sense to bring out Avengers Endgame. The reason they're doing this Avatar thing is they're trying to drum up talk about Avatar, get that in people's heads again because the sequels are coming. And those are, at least one or two of them are done, apparently. Well, the principal photography is done. So they will be re-releasing this movie in America as well. So once it's done with its run over here in China, at least in America, if not worldwide, I guarantee you Avatar will get another, if not domestic, or if not worldwide, definitely at least a domestic release before the sequels come out. They will put this movie out again, so it will make even more money. So I think that the gap between Endgame and Avatar is going to widen considerably, and I do think that Avatar is going to end up being the number one movie of all time for quite a while again. Because I don't think, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm blowing smoke out of my ass, and I look at the final tally, and it's, the movie made $10 million. So it's just, yeah, it's number one, but it's not too far off. Or maybe it'll make another $100 million. I have no idea. After all is said and done, once they do all these re-releases of it. But what I do know is it's number one now. Apparently, after this news came down the line, directors Anthony and Joe Russo, the guys who made the Avengers movie, or Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, they conceded to James Cameron, the director of Avatar, with some artwork created by Boss Logic. I did see it. I don't have it here, but it was some artwork they created, some Avatar artwork that their people made. Pretty much saying congratulations, which is pretty much also, that's cool, because James Cameron did the same thing when Avatar took over. They put something out as a picture or something, but it was also a quote saying something about Avengers, and I think it was in Navi or something like it, or whatever. I don't know, that whole thing. But so it's cool that they're being cordial about it. I mean, I think Anthony and Joe Russo in the Avengers movies, Marvel, the MCU, is going to be okay. As of right now, the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time are as follows: Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Titanic, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, Avengers Infinity War, Jurassic World, The Lion King 2019, The Avengers, the first one, Furious 7, and Frozen 2. That is... This whole list almost... No, pretty much this whole list, almost this entire list, reeks of inflation. I feel like some of these movies wouldn't be on here if it weren't for inflation. Not that they didn't all make lots of money. Star Wars, I get that. The Avengers, last two Avengers movies, I get that. Titanic, of course, that's the oldest movie on here, and Avatar's the second oldest movie on here. Both James Cameron movies, by the way. Jurassic World, maybe. Lion King, 2019. I don't know how. I don't have numbers on how much it's made it, but it's number 7. I feel like that movie, if it weren't for inflation, if it weren't for how much tickets were costing in 2019, this would not be anywhere. It wouldn't be in this top 10. Furious 7, maybe. I don't know. And Frozen 2. I mean, they're there though. Either way, it is what it is. I'm happy for this. I really like Avatar. I enjoy Avatar. I think Avatar was a great movie. I think people give it a lot of shit, but that's because it's number 1, because it made so much money. When something's that popular, people want to talk shit. Oh, it's Ferngully and all this and that. I'll tell you what. I've seen Ferngully. I've seen Avatar. I really enjoyed Avatar. Ferngully, I thought was whatever. It's a movie that has some commonalities with another movie. I think there's a few of those out there. There's lots of movies that have commonalities with other movies. I enjoyed Avatar. I really like James Cameron as a director. I'm happy to see that Avatar is back as number 1. I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with these sequels. Everybody's like, "Oh, you can't make sequels. The sequels won't be any good." You know what? Don't doubt James Cameron. I mean, if anything, if any director has ever earned your respect and earned your goodwill, rather, James Cameron has. I mean, even if you don't love all his movies, even if you don't totally like them, you can't say any of his movies are bad. And don't point to Piranha 2, because Piranha 2 wasn't his movie. He got fired a few days into it, even though they put his name on it. But no, all of his movies have been high quality. He has not had any bombs. So, it says, now that Disney owns 20th Century Fox, which released Avatar originally, they have the top 2 spots locked down. No matter which one comes out at number 1, they're number 1. In fact, they're responsible for 7 of the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time. So Disney remains the dominant studio at the box office, and that's true. I'm trying to look here. I think that Disney owned, I don't know about the Avengers. The first Avengers, did Disney own? I think that may have been right after they bought them, but I don't know if in 2012, I can't remember. That was right around when Disney bought the MCU, maybe a few years after. So, but all the other ones, yeah, these come like Star Wars Episode 7, that was totally 100% Disney. Infinity War, Endgame, totally Disney. Titanic was not. Avatar was not. They're owned by Disney now, but they were not in the game. They had nothing to do with those movies. Jurassic World is Paramount. Lion King, of course, is Disney. And Furious 7 is Paramount. Frozen 2, of course, is Disney. So, yeah. So, yeah, Disney's the fucking juggernaut. They're the man. So, regardless of who's at number 1, Disney's at number 1. And I ain't going to lie, because I'm not a huge Disney fan. Kind of burns my ass, but whatever. As long as they don't fuck up Avatar, because I really enjoyed Avatar. I know everybody doesn't. I do. I hope they don't. They just need to leave James Cameron the fuck alone. Let him do his thing. That's what Fox did. Say what you will about Fox. And when it came to like the X-Men movies and stuff like that, and interfering with people, when it came to James Cameron, they were like, "Hey, you do you, man. You do you. You tell us how much do you need, how much money you need. We'll just write that out and give it to you because you know what you're doing. You don't need. You got it. You do you." And they left him the fuck alone. Hopefully, Disney does the same thing. We'll see. These movies were already in production when Disney took over, so maybe they will, but, Disney likes to get their little grubby hands in things. But either way, Avatar is the king of the world once again. Speaking of bringing things back and things coming back and reclaiming their throne, this week we found out that an oldie but a goldie is coming back to grace us. We're going to get a bit more information on one of my favorite childhood characters, and that would be Pee-wee Herman. But not just Pee-wee. Pee-wee's going to be a big part of it, but not just Big Pee-wee, or not just Big Pee-wee, but not just Pee-wee, but Paul Reubens. We are getting a Pee-wee Herman, or really a Paul Reubens documentary on HBO. Josh, and the funny thing is who's producing this thing is a little bit odd too. Josh and Benny Safdie, the filmmaker duo behind Good Time and Uncut Gems, are producing a documentary about Paul Reubens for HBO. In their words, a kaleidoscope portrait told in 2 parts. The Paul Reubens documentary traces the life of the imaginative artist behind one of pop culture's most celebrated and unlikely icons, Pee Wee Herman. I've been working, and Ruben said, I've been working with HBO since they were called Home Box Office. I'm honored and excited to continue my long history there. I love HBO, but I'm not getting married to them, Ruben said in a statement. The project is an HBO documentary films and Alara Productions, directed by Matt Wolf, who made something called Spaceship Earth, and produced by Emma Tillinger Koskoff. That's a hell of a name. Who also produced The Irishman and The Joker. Sebastian Bear McClard, who produced Uncut Gems and Good Time, and Josh and Benny Safdie. The project will focus not only on Ruben's work with the Herman character, but also explore the actor's later work, including projects such as Mystery Men, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Blow. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm a big Paul Reubens fan. I did a review of his latest movie, which came out in like 2016. I was real late on it. I think I reviewed it this past year. I never watched it, and I just decided to give it a shot here recently. Pee Wee's Big Holiday, or Pee Wee's Holiday, or something like that. Whatever it was, the most recent one. And I enjoyed that movie. And Pee Wee's Big Adventure is one of my all-time favorite movies. I used to watch Pee Wee's Playhouse whenever, I think it was Saturday, whatever day it came on, I used to watch that. I just really enjoyed this character. Okay, the guy got caught jerking off in a porn theater, and that ruined his career. I never, even when I was young, because that happened, I don't remember how old I was, but I was probably not quite a teenager, whatever year it was, I could tell you, but I was younger, but I understood what he got caught for doing, and I was just kind of like, so what? You know, he wasn't dressed up as Pee Wee Herman doing it. He was dressed up, he was just Paul Reubens. And he was at a porn theater, and he was, pleasuring himself. Like everybody else in that theater was probably doing. I mean, if that's his thing, who cares? He wasn't he was in public, but he wasn't like in, a restaurant or something like that. He was in a porn theater. That's what you do at porn theaters. Or that's what people that do, that's what they do. Who cares? That's not that big a deal. So what? But apparently it was a big deal to some, and it more or less ruined his career, and the Pee Wee Herman character went away overnight. And now we're going to get this documentary from Josh and Benny Safdie, that's just an odd pairing for this documentary. I mean, I guess not. They deal with like that. I don't know. I mean, they're not directing it. It is a documentary, so maybe not. They're probably around my age, so they probably grew up with Pee Wee as well. So I guess that kind of sort of makes sense. But I don't know. You see those two names, and Paul Reubens and Pee Wee Herman are not the first things that come to mind. But whatever. I'm looking forward to this. I think Paul Reubens, because he has done a lot more stuff than just Pee Wee Herman. But, of course, Pee Wee Herman is what defined his career. I'm looking forward to hearing more and getting, the down and dirty, the gritty details about his life. And I'm sure the whole thing about, of course, that was a big part of his life, what ultimately ruined his career for quite a while, or definitely ruined Pee Wee Herman's career. That'll be detailed as well. I'm looking forward to seeing more about that and getting more clarity on the whole thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I've just been thinking the whole time, so what, he was jerking off a theater? Maybe it was more to it, and I just don't know. He has been in a lot of other stuff, as it mentioned, Mystery Men, which I loved his character in that. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he was one of the best parts of that movie. The original movie with Christy Swanson and what was the 90210 guy? And Blow. Blow, I didn't think was the greatest movie ever. A lot of people really like that movie. I wasn't in love with it, but I remember him playing a really good part in that. He's been in a bunch of other stuff too, as just Paul Reubens. But and Pee Wee's been starting to show up in cameos and more stuff. So hopefully he comes back. When he dresses up as Pee Wee, by the way, he doesn't look like he aged a day. But I'm looking forward to this. HBO has a long storied history of having some high quality documentaries. I mean, they have a long history of having high quality just content. It's HBO. They've got some of the most heralded shows around that have come out on there. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a factual story. It sounds like he's involved himself, so I doubt he's going to allow it to be, some type of hit piece or or if it's going to be non-factual. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Once you've been caught jerking off in a theater and you're famous, and that's plastered all over the place and it ruins your career, is there much else that can be said about you that's going to be embarrassing? I feel like at this point the guy's probably like, I don't really give a shit what you put out there. Tell it all. I got caught jerking off in a fucking theater and I'm famous and it ruined my fucking career. So, okay, there's not much else you can publish that's going to be, that at least on face value, is going to seem worse than that. I mean, there are worse things, but I don't think Paul Rubens has done much worse than that. But we'll find out when this comes out in the coming year, and I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of things coming back and making a comeback and just learning more about old things, we're getting a biopic, a musical biopic again. Not again, but another musical biopic. It seems like every year we get at least one. We've had Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't know, there were some other ones. They're a hot commodity. We seem to get one or a few of them every few years, but now we are going way back, and we are apparently getting a biopic about the Bee Gees. Didn't see that one coming. and we got a high-profile director attached to it as well. Apparently, Kenneth Branagh has been tapped to direct the untitled Bee Gees biopic for Paramount. Paramount has also tapped screenwriter Ben Elton to draft the film's screenplay. Elton also wrote Branagh's 2018 dramatic biography, All Is True, wherein the director starred as William Shakespeare. Additionally, the sole surviving brother of the original Bee Gees trio, Barry Gibb, is reportedly heavily involved in the narrative of the film. He will also serve as an executive producer. Last year, Gibb aided in the construction of HBO's archival Bee Gees documentary, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? The rights to the Bee Gees biopic initially got slated at Paramount in late 2019 by Bohemian Rhapsody producer Graham King at GK Films. Okay. I'd be down with this, I guess. I'm not like super hyped about it, but the Bee Gees were really big for their time. Are they as time? I mean, I get some of the Bee Gees, the enigma, the thought of the Bee Gees. When you think the Bee Gees, you think disco, you think the 70s. So I guess they have that. They are in the popular zeitgeist for that they kind of embody the 70s disco culture. But beyond that, I don't know. Do they go beyond that? I don't really think so. I mean, there was Saturday Night Fever and things like that. The whoo, staying alive. I just did that. The staying alive thing, everybody knows that. That's them, by the way. But I don't know. Do we need maybe we do. Maybe there's more to the Bee Gees that I just don't know, and that's why we need a biopic. Is it that we need a biopic of the Bee Gees, or is it that they're running out of artists that are really popular and are willing to let them make a biopic about them? I don't know. I mean, they were big, but I just don't feel like they have like something like Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man, which Elton John and Queen, they're kind of timeless. Those groups of people or persons are very timeless. Their music is still big today. The Bee Gees, I mean, besides, the one Stayin' Alive iconic song, which is probably going to be timeless. That's one song. They themselves, I wouldn't say, are timeless. I mean, I don't think that people recognize Queen. They recognize Elton John. What's another one? Prince. Can we get a Prince biopic, by the way? I'm sure somebody's working on that. They recognize these artists. I don't think everybody recognizes the Bee Gees. I mean, maybe people that were around when the Bee Gees were a thing, they recognize them, but I mean, does your average 18-year-old, 19, 20-year-old nowadays recognize the Bee Gees? Hell no. Not your average, not even your non-average one. No, they just don't. So, but who knows? I mean, Kenneth Branagh is a very talented director. He's directed some really good films. He typically is not involved in a movie unless it is of a higher quality. I will give him that. And I don't know much about the writer, the screenwriter, Ben Elton. I'm not familiar with his work, but I will say that Branagh seems to be a very passionate director who is, he's a classically trained actor who moved into directing, and he's done some really great things in the director's seat. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to this. I just don't know. Apparently there's a story here, and I'm just not aware of it. When it came to the other ones, I was always like, yeah, there's a story there. Queen, definitely a story there. Elton John, absolutely. The guy was a nut. Like drugs and everything, not like crazy, but just all over the place. But the Bee Gees, maybe, I guess. We'll find out whenever this comes out. It's being worked on now. They got a director, so I mean they're moving forward with it. So to all the Bee Gees fans out there who have just been waiting for that biopic to get announced, here you go. I guess the Bee Gees are coming. The biopic from a renowned director and actor, Kenneth Branagh. So it'll at least be made well and probably acted really well, because he's one of those directors who is like an actor's director. So he usually gets really good performances out of his actors. And I don't think the guy picks bad. I don't think he would have picked this or gone with this if there wasn't a story to tell that is interesting. But I guess we'll find out in the coming year or two whenever the Bee Gees biopic comes out. How much you want to bet it's going to be called Stayin' Alive, though? I mean, really. What else could it be called? Apparently, this is the week for bringing old shit back. And in keeping with that, an old property is apparently making a comeback. One that I never thought this was out of the blue to me. I never thought that we would ever see another sequel to this, I guess, franchise, especially if a third one comes out, which apparently it is. And I'm talking about, strangely enough, Young Guns. If Young Guns is, for those of you that don't know, which there's a good chance many of you don't know what Young Guns is, because if you were born, in the 90s, or at least, if you're younger than 20 to 25 years old, you may have absolutely no idea what Young Guns is. Young Guns was kind of a pseudo Brat, not the Brat Pack, but like a hip, updated, not updated in like the time period, but a new telling of Billy the Kid and his group, or a group. It was a fictionalized telling of pseudo-true events. Centered around Billy the Kid, played by Emilio Estevez. Came out in the 80s, I think 88, and then had a sequel, Young Guns 2, even though at the end of Young Guns, Billy the Kid was killed, like in real life, supposedly. But it played it, and it made it happen, and there was a sequel, both of which were entertaining flicks from what I remember. I remember seeing these both in the theaters with my parents and enjoying them, having a good time with them, but never did I think that we were going to get a third one. But nobody told Emilio Estevez that, apparently, because apparently Young Guns 3 is happening. The story goes as this. Emilio Estevez, the once and future Billy the Kid, has revealed that a potential third entry in the Young Guns franchise is definitely in the works. In 1988, Young Guns blazed onto the big screen. The film featured Emilio Estevez as Billy the Kid, leading a cast that included Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, Charlie Sheen, Dormant Mulroney, Jack Palance, and more. It told the story of Billy the Kid and his aging during the Lincoln County... I'm sorry, I said aging. Billy the Kid and his gang, can't read tonight, during the Lincoln County War, which took place in New Mexico during 1877 through 1878. And like most stories about Billy the Kid, it was heavily fictionalized. It grossed $56 million against an $11 million budget, making it a huge success. 1990's Young Guns 2 introduced the twist that, contrary to historical record, Billy the Kid was not gunned down by lawman Pat Garrett, played by William Peterson. Instead, Billy faked his death and lived on under the name Brushy Bill Roberts, who was a real person who really did claim to be Billy the Kid, though it was never proven. Estevez said, "Yeah, it's definitely in the works. I drive a lot and I spend a lot of time in the Midwest, and people will tell me, we haven't seen you on screen for a while. Come back. We'd love to see you in the movies again. We'd love to see you play Gordon Bombay. We'd love to see you play Billy the Kid." So I feel like we've ticked one of those boxes and we're working on ticking the other one. The Kid is a fun character to play. There's a lot of speculation about what happened that night in 1881 in Fort Sumner, New Mexico. Did he die? Did he not? And so there's a lot of mythical, historical, and actually some factual things that we can examine if we're serious about going back to that franchise as well. Okay. I mean, quite honestly, this series was never like, it was a very loose telling on fictional events. And honestly, the whole Billy the Kid, I mean, Billy the Kid was a real person, but all the things, because, you know, news, and especially in the Wild West, it was called the Wild West for a reason. History is a little, you know, shaky in some parts back then. Things weren't quite reported as concretely as they are nowadays. So they had a bit of creative license that they took when they made Young Guns 1 and 2, because while there are some facts that are just in concrete, there are a lot of the things about his life we don't know for sure. So they made two fun, entertaining movies, and they both were. They were both really fun and entertaining. I remember that. What are they going to do with a third one, though? I don't know. I suppose they could continue. I can't remember enough about the end of the second one to say where they would go with it, but from what I remember, he is still alive in the end of the second one, because he is, you know, they claim that this brushy Bill Roberts gentleman in real life, he was Billy the Kid. And if I remember, Estevez played him with just heavy makeup, if I remember correctly. But I guess we could see more adventures with Billy the Kid and the others. As far as I can tell, I think all of these actors are still around. I don't know if they call it Young Guns anymore, because none of them are young. And if they were going to use the same actors, I mean, maybe old guns, middle-aged guns. I don't really know. I mean, obviously Emilio Estevez is still with us. Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, I'm pretty sure he's still around. Christian Slater, of course, is around. And I'm not sure who this guy on the younger guy over here with the rifle is, on the opposite side of Christian Slater. He looks familiar, though. But Dermot Mulroney is still with us, as far as I know. So, I mean, they could get the cast back together. Charlie Sheen actually died in the first one, so he obviously wouldn't be in it. I suppose they could do a prequel, maybe? Why would they do a prequel? I don't know. But how would you do a prequel if they're all older? I don't know where this is going to go, but I will say that if it goes the same route as the originals, I'd be down for it. It was a good time. They weren't ever taking themselves too seriously. They were just serious enough. They weren't comedies or even like over the top or anything like that. They were pseudo serious movies, but they kind of played fast and loose with everything that went on there. So it was very much a Western for the new generation in 1988. But I remember really enjoying these movies. I kind of, after reading this article, I kind of want to go back and watch the Young Guns movies now, because I remember them being a good time. I just hope they don't make this movie just because of nostalgia. I don't know if there's enough nostalgia for Young Guns there to bring back and make a third one. Plus, you can't call it Young Guns anymore. You can call it just Guns. Or maybe old guns, like I said, or middle-aged guns. I don't know. But, you know, this is interesting. If Estevez, while he has not been in front of the camera a whole lot, he's apparently been behind the camera quite a bit. He's still involved in the movie industry. He's just done a lot of work in writing and directing and producing and things of that nature. He's not doing the acting as much. So he's still out there. He's still got the connections. He's still in the industry. I enjoyed his portrayal as Billy the Kid, and if they could recapture that magic, I'd be willing to watch Young Guns 3, Older Guns, if it ever does come to fruition, which apparently to him is definitely in the works. Just When we'll get it, what we'll get, who knows. But I'm down for it. I'll take it whenever it comes out. Now, for the last story of the night, I got one that affects probably 90% of the people that are going to watch this, if not more, and it has to do with Netflix. My preferred, honestly, people got a lot of stuff to say about Netflix, much like the Avatar story I was talking about earlier. I think a lot of those criticisms about Netflix are because Netflix is the biggest one. It's the streaming service. And when you're number one, everybody's always got shit to say. If you want to just talk about streaming services in general and shit talk them, okay, fine. But to say something negative about or shit talk Netflix and then say other ones are so much better, I don't think anybody really can stand up to what Netflix is offering at this time. Sure, they've got their issues. They kind of oversaturate with TV shows and stuff now and less movies. They started out as movies mainly. But it's still it is a good service. For what I pay for Netflix every month, I feel like I get my money's worth. I mean, there's tons of content on there, and they constantly have new stuff. They have originals, and like anything else, their originals they vary in quality, admittedly. But overall, I think Netflix is still a good service. They don't do anything worse than any of the other streaming services. I will say, as a side note, though, as I've mentioned before, I'm not a huge Disney fan. And I don't think, and this, all my biases about Disney aside, I did subscribe to Disney Plus for a while, and I gave it a fair shake, and it had some stuff like The Mandalorian and that type of stuff on there that I did enjoy. I thought The Mandalorian was really good. Haven't watched WandaVision yet, but I've heard good things about it. But really, I don't see Disney Plus having long-term... There's just not enough on there. It's only Disney stuff, and they're owned. And now they own a lot of shit, but it's only that. The thing I like about Netflix is it's not only one. It's everything. They'll bring in anything onto that platform. They don't care if it's Disney, if it's Paramount, if it's it's just movies, and that's what I like about Netflix. It's not a walled off community. The Disney one, There's a lot of content, but I don't feel like it's enough for me to pay a monthly subscription forever. That's why I don't anymore. But either way, HBO Max, by the way, though, I'm really liking that service so far. We'll see how it goes because I've only been subscribed for about 2 months now. But we're talking about Netflix. And what are we talking about here? Netflix is trying out a potentially controversial thing. Not really controversial. Something some people aren't going to like. But it makes sense, in my opinion. They're about to possibly cancel something that some of the people watching this are probably doing. Netflix might have more than 200 million subscribers worldwide, but the actual number of people using the service is probably significantly higher due to password sharing. For those of you that don't know, password sharing, I'm sure all of you know, but is where I have an account. And, on Netflix, you can have, depending on what tier you are, I guess, you can have multiple screens playing your account at once. I think mine's like 4, but I think the base model one, the base level, I have like 1 tier above that one because I have so many different people watch it here in my house. But I think 3 is what it is. You can usually do 3. Could be wrong, but it's multiple screens. So say I have Netflix and I give my friend who lives down the street my password and everything, and they just use my account. And I actually have had that happen. I had a friend who was using my, like years and years and years ago, using my Netflix account before they got their own. So yeah, I've done that. I've never done it the other way around. I've always had a Netflix account since like I worked at Blockbuster Video when I got a Netflix account. Back before it was anywhere near streaming, when you order the movies through the mail. That's how long I've had a Netflix account. But I know that a lot of people do that. They share their passwords, and one password will be, 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 different potential customers will be using it. And I've always thought it was odd that that's a very known thing to do, and it's just is what it is. It's been what it's been. There's never been anything about it. They've never done anything about it. Apparently, that That era is coming to an end. Netflix has been testing a profile verification system for a small number of users that will prompt them to verify their identities using email or text notifications. However, it must be noted that the sample size seems to be very small with this new feature test. And depending on how it goes, maybe Netflix wouldn't want to roll it out on a major level. That said, this is typically what companies do when they're figuring out how to make changes. So don't be surprised if this becomes a reality soon. So yeah, what they're ultimately doing, and I'm sure anyone who uses the internet is used to this or has any type of account anywhere, sometimes when you go to sign into something, it'll say like, two-step verification, that kind of thing. Hey, we're going to send a code to your email or a text to your phone, and you just put the code in to verify that it is you using this. That's normal practice pretty much across the board with any services pretty much. So I don't think that that's too... I don't see a problem with this, honestly. I get it. I mean, Netflix is, they're providing a service, and we should be paying for that service if we're going to be using it. That is what it is. I know some people aren't going to like that, and me myself, I'm not going to say I've never ever done things or used less ethical things to watch things on TV and stuff before, and I've always looked at it like, yes, I'm doing that, but if I ever get caught or if I get blocked out of it, it is what it is. I ain't mad at nobody. I get it. I was doing something I wasn't supposed to. That time has come to an end. I think this will make some people mad, but at the same time, I'm like, it's Netflix, dude. What is it? $9 a month? Just if you're probably getting $9 a month worth of entertainment out of Netflix. If not, then don't subscribe to it. But I mean, I get it. I mean, they're providing a service, and I don't think that they overcharge for that service for $9 a month. Or I think maybe, depending on what tier you have, the amount of money they charge a month, even if you don't like them, even if you don't like Netflix as a company, I don't think that they're overcharging for that. I think that that's a reasonable amount that they're asking for. But this is probably going to make some people mad, and probably at least somebody who's watching this will have, maybe you're signing in as a friend or a loved one or a relative across, in another state or something, or even like an ex or something like that, or whatever. You're signing into someone else's account, and now you might have to get your own. That is if they even do it. They might say, fuck it, it's not worth it. We don't want to, rock the boat too much while we have all these others, because Netflix is contending against all these other streaming services now, because they're number one, so everybody's gunning for their head. Maybe they're kind of like, what's the pro? I mean, are these people, or if we say no to them and we block them out, are they going to come back and get their own? It's kind of up in the air. I mean, and then their numbers will drop, because while they may not lose any subscribers due to it, they will lose viewership. Because even though, okay, maybe you've got 3 people using one account, but those 3 people are still watching your shows. They're still watching your service. And numbers we're seeing more and more now that the numbers, the viewership of these movies and shows and stuff on these streaming services do matter. That matters in investor calls and stuff like that. So that's a decision they're going to have to make. I don't know what all goes into that, but they're going to make that decision. But they are doing it. Just know that they are doing it with a random small amount of people right now. They're doing account verification. So if you're using somebody else's Netflix account, just know that there's a possibility you won't be able to use it for much longer. Or, I mean, you could, I guess, but it's just going to be more of a pain in the ass. You're going to have to call them and be like, hey, what was the code that just came to your email? Or something like that. So just know that moving forward. Be prepared to either possibly be getting your own Netflix account if you don't have one and you're wanting to continue that service, or having a bit more of a pain in the ass sometimes when you log in. So that'll do it for the news this week of March 16th, 2021. Not a huge weekend news, but some really interesting things. And if you got Netflix, watch out, because they might be coming for you. But beyond the news, as far as releases go, it's a big week in some ways and a small week in others. On the 18th, which is Thursday, we're getting, of course, finally, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and also a little movie on Shudder called Slacks. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it is an interesting kind of surreal horror flick. I'm looking forward to Justice League, though, and I will definitely be watching that and reviewing it. Now, on Friday, March 19th of this week, we're also getting, and I'm not familiar with all of these, but we're getting The Courier, City of Lies, Enforcement, Happily, Last Call, and Phobias. I've actually not... City of Lies I have heard of. I think it's a crime drama, if memory serves. The others I'm not familiar with. However, Last Call is a movie I'm very familiar with. I got an early screener from that directly from the director of the film some months ago in midsummer. And that was a fantastic film, and I'm happy to see that it is finally getting a wide release. I don't know if it's going to be theatrical. I think these are all theatrical releases. It will definitely be available on VOD. Last Call was fantastic. That is such a good movie. I absolutely recommend everyone check that out. My review of it is still up, and you can get all the details on it. It is a movie that is shot in one continuous shot, not a simulated shot. It is legitimately an unbroken. There's no hidden cuts, none of that. It is one continuous shot from beginning to end, and it is done so meticulous. It is amazing. It is so good the way that they made that work, because the basic premise behind the movie, it's technically two shots, but they happen in one continuous shot each. It's two people having a good bit of it, having a phone call in real time about one of them is contemplating suicide and the other one is trying to talk the other person out of it. And you see both sides at the same time, and every bit of it, like they coordinated this in the same city on different sides of the city. They coordinated the whole thing, filming these two people going through. One of them at one point is even walking across the city to go to the apartment where this character will be, and the other one's driving to where that character will be. It was just everything that had to go in to coordinating that whole thing to make it work the way that it did is mind-boggling. And in talking to the director, he was saying that it was just crazy insane getting it to work. They actually had to do, I think they shot it 2 or 3 times until they finally got it right. But Last Call was a fantastic film, not just from its technical perspective, just the film itself, the story, and where it leaves you rather, is just like, wow. And it leaves you in a spot to you're just like super stressed. It was a fantastic movie. I absolutely recommend checking that movie out. Hopefully it gets some consideration and some type of awards this year, because it definitely deserves it. It is a smaller movie, but I'm hoping it everybody who sees it says that they love it and it's wonderful, because it absolutely was. I highly recommend checking out Last Call. Moving on from there, we're going to check out a few trailers. Or not a few, actually. We're going to check out one trailer, and then we're going to check out a short film. A short film from Bat in the Sun, a YouTube channel called Bat in the Sun, about Batman. Now, this first trailer is a movie that kind of came out of nowhere. It's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it. I am not familiar with it. I have not seen the trailer. I don't know really much of anything about it. It's called The Unholy, and it is apparently coming out April 2nd, so it'll be out in no time at all. So we're going to jump right in here and check out this trailer and see if there's what The Unholy is all about. So here's the trailer for The Unholy.
She's here.
Ooh. Well, that was creepy.
Story for you. Something the examiner will love. A healing.
Okay, a religious movie.
Divine.
A girl performing
demonic.
miracles after a visitation from the Virgin Mary.
Chicago, New York.
Oh,
DC,
black eyes,
every
Jeffrey Dean
demographic
Morgan.
on
I'm
this
getting
planet
supernatural vibes.
is eating this up.
Give me the exclusive.
All
All right, I think I got this all set up. What do you say we do a couple real easy questions?
How many are gonna watch? Mary wants to reach as many people as possible.
Maybe millions.
So is
There are
she
people out
supposed to
there
be
that
like
don't believe in your
reincarnated?
miracles. How would you respond to those?
Is the Virgin Mary?
Seeing is believing.
And why do you think Mary chose you?
I opened myself up and welcomed her in.
Witnesses of the Virgin
So she's
Mary
like an
draw
apostle?
millions of faithful each year. The Vatican's been tasked to investigate this visitation from the Blessed Virgin.
I'm assuming that all is
Several
not good with
libraries
this.
worth
Something's
on the
up.
supernatural. Investigated half a dozen miracles. Prove them all false.
She's here.
Oh,
You
Sam
think there could
Raimi's
be other
involved.
forces at play here.
When God builds a church,
Don't
the devil
Breathe, Evil
builds a
Dead. I like
chapel
both those.
next door.
Don't doubt her. Doubt weakens faith.
So is like this
Hail
Easter.
Mary, full of grace.
So is like the
Pray
Virgin
for
Mary a
sinners now and at the
demonic
hour
force
of our
now or
death.
something?
This
I'm
is
assuming
not
it's
the work
something
of the
else that's
Virgin
taken
Mary.
her over.
It's the work of the unholy.
Faith in evil
CGI monster.
empowers evil.
Believe in her.
What you wish for? Oh, who you pray to.
Offer your souls to Mary.
Yeah, I don't think that's the Virgin Mary, honey.
Mary, Mother of God, the Lord is with you.
Yeah, it worked the first time. You ain't gonna get me. It's only PG-13 too. Okay, I mean that might be good. It's in theaters on Good Friday. Yeah, that could be good. I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but you know, it could just be another generic, you know, monster or not monster, but holy monster kind of the Omen. The what's the one that came out about a year ago? The La Lenora or whatever it was. You know, those kind of movies. Those Blumhouse scary movies, if you will. It could just be another one of those generic type of movies like that of the spiritual scariness. It could go either way. I don't know. Nothing about it just jumped out at me as, oh, really cool. It did. The trailer had a really good vibe in that first part. I will give it that. It had a really neat, interesting vibe going for it. I can't say that I was like just like totally in love with it, but I mean, I wasn't hating it. As it went on, though, admittedly, and this is just of the trailer, as the trailer went on, it did seem a little bit more and more generic as it went. I will say that. I feel like the trailer gave away a lot, too. I feel like the trailer was giving away some of the mystery that this movie is going to portray, and the movie is probably going to try and keep things a mystery that the trailer's already given away, and I really fucking hate when trailers do that. But yeah, but up until about the halfway point, I was kind of digging the trailer. I was like, okay, I like this. It's got some mystique to it and all that. But then it just, like I said, about halfway through, it started getting the whole last half of the trailer was kind of generic, honestly. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I've seen great movies come from terrible trailers and vice versa, but you got like the CGI monster. You know, why that I don't understand why that I don't know what it's going to do in the movie, but what we saw of this creature in the trailer, why was it CGI? Why couldn't you just have a person in makeup doing that? It would be far more creepy. I mean, if you want to add some CGI smoke and whatever to them, fine, but it just clearly was CGI, and that's just never as scary because I know it's not there. I'm more scared of the loud noises. We're more startled by the loud noises they inject in these scenes than what I'm actually seeing. You can make a CGI creature as creepy looking as you want. It's still CGI, and you know it. Put a real fucking person there. Put a real fucking person in some makeup there, or not, just a creepy ass looking person in a hood shrouded like that, and they look 100 times creepier. But Hollywood never learns. yeah, I'm going to go with cautiously optimistic. Maybe a little bit less than cautiously optimistic. I'm not going to be running out to theaters to see that one for sure. I hope it's good. I don't want any movie to be bad, but I'm not, especially after the second half of that trailer, I'm not thinking it's going to be great. Hopefully I'm proved wrong, though. Everybody here, what do you guys think? Do you think The Unholy is going to be just the next Exorcist? I doubt it. But hey, if it's for you, it's for you. I hope it's great, and I hope that I am proven wrong, and when it comes out, I'm just like, wow, that was like the best horror movie ever. I just kind of doubt it. So this week we're going to do something a little different. I usually take a look at 2, maybe 3 trailers. We looked at the one, but instead of another trailer, we're going to look at a short film that I've had recommended to me by quite a few of my followers and just heard a lot of people talking about. So I figured, let's check it out. It's from a YouTube channel called Bat in the Sun. I was already subscribed to them, and I highly suggest checking out their channel, especially if you like just like kind of mashups that will never happen, but you'd like to see fantasy mashups and things, especially with video games or comic books, especially, and other mediums like that, pop culture mediums. They take popular characters and will pit them against each other. That's kind of their thing they've done for a while. And but they're all really high quality videos. They've done like Wolverine versus the Predator, and Batman versus the Alien, Deadpool versus the Joker, just to name a few. But they're all super high quality short films. This one in particular apparently is extremely high quality and a bit longer than the other ones. It's clocking in, it looks like about 25 minutes. And it's not a mashup. This is actually a short story about Batman called Batman Dying is Easy. So I'm looking forward to this. I have high hopes that it will be high quality, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I figured we'd check it out. If it ends up being a good watch, I highly recommend checking out Bat in the Sun, YouTube channel, and watching this and much more of their stuff. So let's jump right into this and check out Batman Dying is Easy. Looks like we got a disclaimer here right at the beginning. Disclaimer: Bat in the Sun Productions and the following presentation are in no way affiliated with DC Comics or Warner Brothers. Dying is Easy is a non-profit film and is free to all enjoy. All right, cool. So here we go with Batman Dying is Easy. I like that logo. Pretty sure that's an original logo. Oh! That's a cool Batmobile. It's like a mix from the Arkham game and the old school Batmobile and the new Nolan Batmobile. I do like that. That's a cool logo. Dying is easy. I suppose it is. See, that's how you do CG. That's a real shot, and they added shit in.
Still, there are no leads on the 3 missing police officers.
Joey Quinn, Brian Murphy.
I got the best people working on it, but
That guy's familiar. Who is he?
the trails run cold.
The district attorney has launched multiple investigations with no result. Every night, Gotham citizens have taken to the streets as a candlelight vigil in hopes they will find them. You have any information?
She like a kidnapped girl or something? Oh, dude, you're fucked up. Ah. Ooh. Hell yeah. Damn. Oh, shit. It got blood on the screen. Oh, it's the fucking, what's his name? Whooped his ass.
You enjoy stealing innocence.
Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Dr. Chocolate.
Batman looks
Cream
badass.
cake. The girls, my Alice's, seem to enjoy it.
Oh, is he like molesting the girls?
Again.
Oh! He didn't kill him. He didn't kill him, so he's still in Batman mode. I like that suit, man. That looks really good, even though that's like fully lit and everything, which you don't see Batman in like full-on light very often. He still looked real dark and cool 2 months later. I see Axis. I know all that's fake, but it does look really good, especially for a YouTube channel.
Hey, give me a minute, would you?
Is that Michael Madsen? It is!
Bullock, what do you want?
Oh, yeah, that's Bullock. Oh, I thought he was floating in the air.
How's it hanging there, Bats? I don't have any time for your lack of candor, Bullock. Talk. You think I enjoy coming up here in the middle of the night? Freezing my butt off. Just because Gordon's in the hospital? I got real cases. I got actual things to do. 3 of my men are missing, and you know what? I'm gonna find out where they are, one way or another. I don't really have.
Who is he gonna take the mask? Who is playing Batman?
The babysit freak in a cape, flying around the city pretending to be a superhero.
I don't think he's pretending, homie. He is. Well, he's not super, but he's a hero.
You know, just because Gordon respects you doesn't mean I have to, right? It goes both ways. Listen, you know what? I have some good news for you. The pasty-faced clown is dying.
The Joker?
Anything else? Well, he's demanding to see you, of course. You guys spent most of your life together, right? I thought maybe you'd be excited. There'd be a little celebration from your side of things.
I like that suit. That suit looks really good, man.
As far as I'm concerned, one of you
For a fucking YouTube channel, that shit looks legit.
exactly what you deserve. Death of the Joker, nothing to celebrate. All I'm saying is that somebody should have pulled the trigger on him a long time ago. Well, you're the one with a gun and a license to kill. Yeah. Well, don't tempt me there, man. Yeah, do it. And you'll see exactly how deep this well of madness can run.
Yeah, bitch, do something. I'm Batman. I might not kill you, but I'm gonna fuck you up.
Excuse me. Listen, I thought I told you to give me a minute.
I thought I told you to give me a minute.
Anyway.
Nah, you should have known he was gonna do that. That's what Batman does.
Hey, Bats!
You just leave your ass hanging. Okay, that was a little suspect, but
Hugo, I'm on my way.
it looked good for a.
Transfer Joker from his cell to
It's a YouTube channel. Come on now.
I see you spoke to Lieutenant Bullock. I would have reached out to you personally, but I have no way of contacting you directly.
As it should be.
I mean, yes, some of this clearly is CGI and like that. And a little suspect. But we got to take into account that this is a short film made for a YouTube channel. Like, all the practical shit looks really good. And the camera work and everything, like, is really good, too.
Good evening to all. This is Dr. Hugo Strange.
He's a villain.
Regarding tonight's schedule, due to a code
Or he becomes a villain, at least.
dinner and all night activities.
Yeah. Everybody chill. That's his ass. Victor's ass, right? I think.
That is all.
No, I think I heard Harley Quinn. Who's that? Riddler? Riddler, maybe?
You don't need only this.
Yep. Told you.
Belongs to you, but everyone else uses it.
Oh, there's Poison Ivy. Oh, there's Harley Quinn.
Did you miss me? I hope you've gotten all my love letters.
Fucking nut job.
Wow, Harley, he walked right past you.
You know, as much as Harley Quinn is loved, she is one of the newest villains in the Batman. Oh, Croc. You look pretty good.
Easy now there.
Oh, I wonder who's playing the Joker. That's not Mark Hamill. I know they've done the Joker on this channel before.
I like it. Yes, get these off of me.
It's all yours.
I used to have a TV like that when I was a kid.
This moment. He was supposed to.
All right, let's
take
see how they
place
do
on
the Joker.
Gotham Bridge. Or the old water reserve. Or Jerry's abandoned circus.
And Frank.
Televised for millions to see.
I'm cool with the
Wasn't
voice.
supposed to end like
He's clearly trying to do a Mark Hamill, though. I mean, he's trying to do a Kevin Conroy.
I'm dying. Melanoma.
I'll take it.
Well, I guess that acid bath wasn't too funny, was it?
The night we first met.
I think that's the guy who... Actually, I think that's the guy who makes these.
All my close calls. Skin cancer. The humor is not lost on me.
I do. I think that's the guy who actually
Dying
directs
is
these.
easy.
Yeah, and comedy is hard. Why am I here?
That's a great question. I want you.
But I'm pretty sure that's the same guy who
You start.
played the Joker in their other
I want you, Batsy.
Joker. I think it was Joker and Harley Quinn versus Deadpool and
Our legacy
Domino.
is too grand to end with a whimper. It must be epic. It must be gut-wrenching. You have nothing to say. I just told you that I'm dying. This is it. The final confrontation. After all we've been through. This
Yeah,
is our final soliloquy.
I don't feel like the Joker would do that.
I don't care about our legacy.
You're a coward. You won't kill me because you're afraid. Not because of some high moral code or your one rule.
Because it seems like he's getting, like,
Because without
frustrated.
me, you can't justify your own existence.
I feel like the Joker would say these things, but not like
right.
this.
I am afraid.
It's almost like a bit of
That
desperation.
once I murder, I'll like the taste of it. And then I'll kill every single inmate at Arkham Asylum. But you need me. Freeze has Nora. Poison Ivy has her environmental cause. Riddler has his puzzles. But you have nothing. Without me, you become your worst fear. And that's being upstaged by everyone here.
I am the king of this asylum. See my crown? It sparkles in the bitter glow of twilight.
I'm not gonna say I hate it, but like the Joker doesn't like lose his cool. If when he does lose his cool, it's not his anger comes through
See, Batsy,
differently. That's not how
I'm
he
the
does
one
it
thing
usually.
That you are not.
He would like laugh it off
You've spent your whole
and be really
life
passive aggressive about
fighting
whatever he
crime,
says.
Night after night.
I mean, there's a bunch of different
Dead
versions of the Joker,
sidekick
so
after dead sidekick.
I don't hate it though.
What? You're utterly miserable. Afraid of the one thing that could possibly bring you joy. See, I am completely and genuinely happy. I wake up every morning with a great
This seems like Joker.
smile.
But that's how he taunts Batman. That's how he taunts everybody. He's got a big ass smile on his face. And he talks shit, but he never lets anything get to him. Like, even when he gets hurt, he kind of like makes a quip about it.
I've often wondered, where were you when the boy laid bleeding out on the floor in that dusty warehouse?
He's talking about Robin. I think it goes...
True, presenting him to me was a stroke of genius, masterful in your story.
I think he beat Robin to death with a crowbar or something like that.
He knew how to sell it. His firm, muscular body breaking under the weight of my lead crowbar. Do you know what his last words were?
That's what the Joker does. He gets under your skin like that.
His last breath.
He doesn't let you see his frustration. He like...
He said your name over and over again.
attacks you like mentally like this.
I would give anything to hear the boy scream your name one last time. Oh, did I hit a nerve? Ouch. Well,
Will Batman kill? Batman has killed before in the comics. He actually in one of them he killed the Joker. He put a fucking batarang between his eye or in his eye at one point.
Do you know what I remember most about this night? It was her hair. It smelled like lavender.
I've had enough of this.
Then finish it. Do what everyone wants and just kill me.
I'm not an executioner.
Just an indirect one, Patsy. I can never measure up to your death toll. Yours is the accumulation of everyone in this asylum. Half the tombstones in Gotham.
Just fucking kill him.
Because of you, that's your legacy.
Enough!
Oh, what the fuck? His feet's all fucked up.
Would still be alive. If you had died years ago, Robin would have a little flock of his own. And Barbara, her dreams shattered like her spine.
I mean, I think the same could be said about you, Mr. J.
You're no longer relevant. When's the last time that you've been in the news? Croc, Ivy, Freeze. Even Condiment King have had their headlines. What have you done?
Condiment King.
Let me in. Veil the curtain, Patsy. You know those 3 missing police officers? I killed them.
What?
I gutted them and left them to rot at O'Neill's Toyland. I can't tell you how much of a joy it's been to watch in secret as Gotham's torn itself apart.
This guy's got the smile for the Joker.
Oracle, did you get all that?
Loud and clear. O'Neill's Toyland. I'm sending the info to GCPD now.
You're so predictable. I knew that if I worked you up, you'd lose your focus.
Worked up.
But that's the thing, the Joker doesn't lose his focus.
Are you?
What are you talking about?
I faked your toxicology report, along with your blood samples.
Oh shit. See? That's Batman's superpower.
Look at me.
It's not like in Justice League where he said I'm rich. His superpower is he's
your water supply for weeks. I knew that if you thought that you were dying,
the best detective around.
out to try to impress me.
I discovered that one of Jervis's thugs had possession of a police baton. It was registered to one of the missing police officers. I found 3 sets of fingerprints, and one of them was yours.
You lied to me. You lied when you said you don't care about me. But you do. You've spent weeks planning and preparing this. So we could have another awe-inspiring performance.
I got thoughts about this.
Bravo. Bravo.
I guess dying isn't easy.
Is that a joke?
Is he gonna close the door, or we're just gonna leave it open so the clown prince of crime can just walk the fuck out whenever he wants? Which I guess he can anyway, because he said he killed those police officers that people have been looking for. And I'm under the impression he's been in jail for a while. That's a green screen.
Good job. See you guys downtown tomorrow. All right, take it easy.
Is it gonna leave us on a cliffhanger? Because Bullock is supposed to be kind of like corrupt,
So,
but still a good guy.
I've been playing everyone the whole time, and me included.
It had to be real.
Think I was too stupid to sell it?
Those are your words, not mine.
Damn, Batman, that's a woman line right there, dude.
Those men were already dead.
Excuse me, what was that? What'd you just say?
I said they were already dead.
You knew they were dead.
Yes.
Then what was all that about? Why did you do all that for them?
I didn't do it for them. I did
Did
it
it for the
families.
Ah!
I had to take away hope so their families could heal. It said that the worst thing to come out of Pandora's box were not the sorrows of the plagues. It was hope itself. Hope's a gamble. Hope lacks certainty. And this city knows all too well what hopelessness and pain can do. It drives it mad.
You know, after all these,
maybe the family can start the healing process and move on.
after all these Batman tellings and retellings, and the one thing that is consistent in all of them is that Gotham City's a fucking shithole. Why does anybody live there?
I used to think you were too crazy to deal with. But I realize now, underneath that Halloween costume, you're actually not such a bad guy.
And he's gone. Come on, did you think he was going to be there?
What an asshole.
And Batman is kind of an asshole.
Bullock was right calling me a madness dweller. Not knowing why or who killed my parents has left me with this endless open wound. An abyss.
I thought he did know. He does know why, or he knows who killed his parents. Depends on which version as to why.
A monster that I both fear and embrace.
His parents got killed by, I can't remember the guy's name. Besides the 89 Burton Batman, it's always the same guy. All right, there it was.
Just laugh away.
Aaron Shunky? Dude, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Yeah, see, I knew he was the, I thought that was the director. He's the guy who runs that, well, he's the face of the channel, at least I assume he runs it. He makes all these. That was Doug Jones? Wait. Doug Jones. Who was? Whoa. Wait. I missed something. Go back. Who was? Because Strange looked familiar too. I know Michael Madsen. Doug Jones, is that like from the famous Doug Jones? Chris Daltrey. That name's familiar too. I need to look these people up. Doug Jones played Abe Sapien in Hellboy. And he's been in other things too. Oh, there's a stinger. There's a stinger. I see it. I think all the people that made this were fantastic, but just for the purpose of this stream, I'm going to skip forward a bit. Let's check out this stinger. Ah, Catwoman. A very Arkham City Catwoman, if I might say. If I do say so myself. Her fingers look very Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, though.
Selena.
Are we going to get a follow-up? Thank you to all our Indiegogo contributors. We could not have made this film without you all. Well, I wasn't an Indiegogo contributor, but they were. Damn, that's a whole bunch of motherfuckers. Damn, how much money did this fucking thing take? That's a whole bunch of people. Woo. Jesus. Even if they all gave $5, that's a shit ton of money. Bad to son. All right, so that was Batman Dying is Easy. Well, that was pretty cool, man. I mean, we got to take into consideration when watching something like this. It is a short film. It is an independent. It's a nonprofit, and it is a YouTube short film, effectively. Which I mean, I don't. That sounds like I'm discounting it, but I mean, there were a few moments like with the CGI where it's better than I could do, but it was still, giving a honest critique. Some of the CGI was a little suspect here or there, like especially the stuff with like the Batmobile. I thought the Batmobile design was really cool. It was like kind of like a mishmash of like a little bit of the 80s Burton Batman with some of the Arkham City Batmobile, and even some of the Tumbler from the Christopher Nolan Batman, and maybe even a dash of the Justice League era or Snyder Batman in there. It's kind of like a mishmash of all of them, and I did like that design. It looked pretty cool. But when it was in motion and you saw it going down the road a couple of times, it was a little. You could tell that's where that's where they could deal with some more money if they were gonna like make like a full length Batman movie. I think that these guys got a lot of talent though, man. Because look at the practical stuff. The everything else looked great. It was shot well. It had a real epic scope. It seemed like Batman. I mean, the guy who played Batman, Porter, I think his name was. I can't remember what it said his first name was. Thought he did a really good job as Batman. I mean, he growled a lot. Michael Madsen was kind of flippant as he usually is as Bullock, but that's what that character is. Are these Oscar-winning performances? No, but they were really entertaining. I mean, for a short film on YouTube, I thought it was great. But you put this up on the big screen as a full length, yeah, you're going to probably get a little bit more criticism out of everybody, myself included. But as a short film, like a concept film, this is fantastic. I mean, all the practical stuff and everything looked great. And technically, it looked great. You throw in some of that CGI, some of the stuff, like some of the city scenes where it showed that, it had the real city with some CGI elements kind of making it Gotham. I thought that stuff looked pretty good. And even some of the other background CGI things looked all right. A few cracks in the armor here or there. But once again, man, we're talking about a non-profit, fan-made Batman movie on YouTube. You got to give a little at some point. You know, I can't, like, hold this up to the same... I can't compare it to Avengers Endgame and say, well, I mean, Endgame had better effect. No shit. But, you know, they made this movie... They're never going to make any money off this movie. So, I mean, they made it, whatever money they put into it, it is what it is. It's just this movie. It's a fan film. I thought it was great. I mean, it was really entertaining. It had some action in it, but, I mean, you know, the bulk of it was him doing his little conversation with Joker and just showing a little bit of fan service here or there with the stuff in the background, like Hugo Strange and all the characters that he was, you know, the rogues gallery when he was walking through Arkham. But, I mean, the action it showed in the beginning where he whooped those guys' ass in that apartment, that was pretty fucking cool. I do wish we'd gotten a little bit more of that. If I could have done with one more beat-em-up scene like that. Seeing Batman throw down, like, down and dirty, whooping motherfuckers' asses, kind of like the BVS Batman when he went into the warehouse scene in the end of the movie, probably the best scene in the whole movie. Anytime I get to see Batman just like beating the shit out of people hardcore and gritty like that, I'm down. And I like that in this one. I mean, he's like slamming people up against walls and all that and crushing nuts. That stuff was really cool. And it was shot really well. That was some exciting stuff. And that should tell you what I was speaking about this channel earlier, Bat in the Sun. A lot of their videos are just that. They're like even more, they're shorter than this, much shorter little videos in film, or not little, but films. They're real high quality, like of this quality, but they're more or less, a lot of them, they're much more fighting because it's usually two popular characters that you'd never see mashed together, coming together and fighting. And yeah, this is a more, you know, narrative take on what they've been doing for years. And I like that. I think they're going in the right direction. They have done something similar to this before with Batman, I think, but it was years and years and years ago, and I think it was on a smaller scale. But the only thing, I mean, besides, I do wish we had one more beat-em-up scene, but I was cool with it the way it was, and I like the story they were telling and showing the Batman doing his detective thing, because that's what Batman's superpower is that he's the greatest detective. He outsmarts his foes. But that's kind of why the Joker's always been his greatest foe, because the Joker's not a brawler either. The Joker is a mental gymnast. I mean, he goes in and he's like a mental assassin. He attacks you. You don't ever see the Joker like getting in fistfights with people and stuff like that. It's very rare because he's typically a fairly frail guy, but he usually attacks people mentally and gets you. He never loses his cool, and if he does lose his cool, you might see like a flicker in his eye, but he'll immediately go in. He's got this, the Joker, the good Jokers have always had this swagger where they don't get mad and lose it. And that's one of the things that makes him seem so insane, that I'm not going to say I hated it, but it did stand out to me. I didn't love the part where the Joker in this clearly lost his shit. And maybe it was because he thought he was dying and he was sick, and it was supposed to show how he's like breaking down and all that. Maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know. But I know typically the good Jokers that we see, the good representations of Joker, he doesn't ever lose his shit. I mean, even if he's like facing death, life's a joke. He just laughs it off. And if you piss him off, he may get pissed off, this character, but he usually will kind of like, but then he doesn't like lash out. The way he lashes out is he'll just kind of come back at you with some real deep cut shit that's going to piss you off. It's kind of like arguing with your significant other. That they're gonna come back as some deep cut shit and flip the conversation around. That's what the fucking Joker is. He's like arguing with your husband and or wife when things get like real bad. He's gonna like come at you with some like hardcore shit and flip this conversation around, and you're like, how did we fucking get here? But I'm really pissed off at you. That's what the Joker does. And I didn't care as much about how he kind of lost his shit there. Like I said, it might be because they're trying to say, well, he's close to death, so. But I've seen the Joker in other instances and other portrayals where he is close to death, where he's about to die, and he's still kind of the Joker because he's anarchy. He doesn't care. He's just, life's a joke, even if life's about to end. And I just don't think he would ever lose his shit to Batman like that. Because, I mean, even look at Heath Ledger's Joker, which a lot of people consider to be one of the best, if not the best. When he's getting his ass whipped by Batman, he's still kind of just making little quips. I mean, you can tell he's hurt, and he's like, now, I mean, this one, he didn't lose his shit too much, and he did kind of revert back to that at one point of the kind of taking deep cuts at Batman to get him pissed off to do something and to just flip it and make you lose your cool so you're not as focused. And I like that. I like that. I just thought that they were trying, because it's nuance with the Joker. Yes, we all know that the Joker needs Batman, and he craves him. And I think that the idea that this was trying to project of saying that Batman telling the Joker, I don't give a shit about you, just go to fuck on, how that would kind of bother the Joker. Yeah, I like that idea, and I think that is something in those mythos that he definitely would. The Joker would have issue if Batman was like, I don't care about you, I'm not going to pay you any attention, if he couldn't get that attention from Batman. But I don't think it would necessarily manifest in anger the way that it did in that. I think the Joker would just continue to push and push and push and be a pain in Batman's ass until he finally had to do something. And we do see that in this when he eventually does that, but he also broke character, if you will, broke Joker character. I like the portrayal of Joker more or less in this. It wasn't the best portrayal of Joker, but it was fine. It was pretty good. I think that bit right there where he lost his shit and got angry for real, that made me kind of lose that put a little bit of a tarnish on the whole thing for me, just a bit. Didn't ruin the experience at all, but I mean, it did stand out to me because that's just what makes the Joker. He's not going to crack. It's almost like Batman, the whole not killing people thing, that's the Joker not showing any true emotion. Everything comes out as a joke, and it shows how truly crazy he is. But overall, Batman dying is easy. Pretty good, really good. I mean, especially for a fan-made short film on YouTube, this was excellent. It was great. Once again, I'm not judging this up against a Hollywood production. You gotta understand how this was made and what it was made for, and what they had to work with. I think they did a great job. I thought the suit looked great. I thought the portrayal of Batman was great. Man, when he was whooping ass in the beginning, that was pretty badass. I mean, seriously, I like that. It looked great. It was shot well. When it came to the CGI special effects, as I said, just a couple of things here or there that are, yes, it was a little weak in some spots. Not all of it, but some spots it was. But it wasn't awful, especially given where it's coming from. You gotta look at this from that point. I mean, you're not gonna judge a filet mignon from a high-dollar restaurant, gourmet restaurant, to a Big Mac at McDonald's. Both are good in their own right. I mean, you gotta. I hate it. That sounds like I'm saying this is a fucking Big Mac, but this is definitely a filet mignon on YouTube. That's for sure. I would definitely recommend checking this out. It only takes, credits and all, it's 25 minutes and 48 seconds. So I'd say the whole thing is probably actually only about, right here, I'll tell you, it's 21 minutes. The whole thing is 21 minutes, credits not included. So it's definitely worth it, especially if you're a Batman fan. Check it out. And check out Bat in the Sun. Their channel is really cool. I've been a fan of their channel for quite a while. They don't release content like as frequently as some others, but that's because their content's like some shit like this. They got some high quality content for a YouTube channel that shows up on here, and it's all non-profit. I mean, they can't get anything because these are all like owned IPs. So some really good stuff. I would like to see maybe Bat in the Sun or these guys with their talent maybe make something, make an original character or something like that, an original story, and maybe you guys can actually get something, get some money, or maybe even get something started. I'd like to see their, original take on a superhero and see what you do. Just a thought. I mean, who knows? Come up with your own superhero idea, because I mean, they've done pretty much all the other ones. Come up with your own superhero idea and show us what your ideal superhero and villains and all that, like make a little short or a full-length movie like that. Who knows? You might take off from there. But yeah, that was Batman Dying is Easy. And yeah, definitely recommend it. So that'll about do it for this week's episode 8 of the JARcast Movie Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed all the news segments we had and the trailer reaction and also the Batman short film that we had a look at. I thought it was a pretty good time. I highly recommend checking it out. Coming up this week on the channel, of course, the big one for me and for my channel will be Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm finally going to get an opportunity to see that in a couple of days, and a review will be coming ASAP. I also, tomorrow morning, have an interesting little movie that I highly recommend checking out the review of course, called Hawk and Rev Vampire Slayers, and it's as kind of out there as that name sounds, but check that one out, coming tomorrow morning. I'm also working on some stuff to cap off my video game movie review series, a couple of videos to complement that before I jump into my next series in the next couple of weeks. That stuff will be coming hopefully next week sometime, some ranking videos and just some things talking about all those movies as a whole. And I have another one, I have a couple of other videos coming, but most notably one that I'm interested in talking about called Drive All Night, which is an interesting little film, and more. All that's coming this week. As far as my Retro Wednesday tomorrow evening, not 100% sure what that's going to be, but check it out. If you're watching this after the fact, go and check out whatever playthrough it was that I did after this podcast. But thank you very much for listening or watching or whatever you're doing. If you are more interested in seeing or hearing, rather, the audio version of this and you're watching the video version, then check it out on all major podcasting platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, etc., etc. It's on all of them, and if it is not on your preferred podcast provider of choice, then just shoot me a message and I can probably get it on there fairly easily. Just let me know. But checking it out either here on YouTube on my channel, Jacob Anders Reviews, or on whatever your audio podcast provider of choice is very much appreciated. And we will be back here filming live, the JARcast Live, next Tuesday, which is the 24th, I think. Whatever day it is, I'll be back here next Tuesday. I appreciate you guys all very much. Thanks for hanging out for a while, and thanks for listening. See you next week. Peace.